You know, recently I have gotten a lot better at BeamNG modding. There's been a few things which have always put me off. One being key inputs, and two being hydraulics. But then I went ahead and did this Wentworth, and I kinda learned both. With the ability to use page up and page down to get this to extend, I'd finally gotten over my final hurdle. Hooray for me! But now I have to think about things that I can actually do with this, and that's what got me thinking about something which I've not seen in the base game of BeamNG. Now, I have seen a mod of it when I was researching to see whether people had done the mod that I wanted to do, but I'm gonna do it a little bit differently to what they did. The one I saw, they took an ETK and then made the metal roof into a fabric roof and made it fold. I, however, am not very good at 3D modeling, so I didn't want to have to make a fabric roof, so that made me think about doing a metal folding origami roof. Since there's one already for this, I had to think of a different one which I could potentially do this with. This is the one I thought about doing first, since it seems like the sort of one that would most likely have a metal folding roof in the way that it looks a little bit European, but then I realized that, you know, this is a proper hatchback and that's really going to hurt the ability to have it fold down. Since even if there is a hatchback that is a convertible, generally they don't have a hatch on the back, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to work with this one. And to be honest, aside from that, there wasn't really anything here that was really getting my creative juices going to make that metal folding roof. I mean, maybe the sunburst, but no. So that's when I started to think, all right, fine, maybe I have to do fabric. So which one do I pick? Nothing like these are really convertible like bodies, so most of those are out of the question. Except kind of the blue buck. This one got me a little bit intrigued. If we have a look here, the silhouette already has a fairly well-defined line here, and the roof kind of follows the shape, so this one would be easy to turn into a convertible, but there was really two things wrong here. For one, this glass would have to be redesigned. Two, I would have to do 3D modeling. And three, the thing that I am worst at, I would have to make a material for it. Now, there was one other fun little thing. This wouldn't really sit well in here, so I'd have to lose the rear seat or make it go into the boot, but the boot line doesn't match up with the actual window like they do on more modern vehicles, so yeah, that's a little bit beyond my skill level. So, which one should I do? Well, I was looking through the cars and then I realized one thing. Oh yeah, the Hopper. It already has a convertible roof. So this one I could just easily go ahead and make into an actual working roof. But there's one thing I should tell you. I recorded this whole entire episode already and I didn't have my microphone turned on. So I'm gonna have to go over and basically tell you everything that has happened up till this point, but the ending at least has good audio. First things first, I had to see whether this thing was properly attached and just to see how it generally functioned. Then I brought it into Blender so then I could try to ascertain the things that I did and didn't need and what was minimally required for just the roof. Then I used a special Blender add-on tool which I had, which means that I can make the general nodes and beams out of Blender's vertices and edges. And all I had to do was use a special exporter which allowed me to then turn it into a file. I then exported it and started to work on the nomenclature and everything in the files, because the way in which it exports, it does R and L to signify right and left, but it also does numbers, but in order. Usually what you'll have on a vehicle is R1, say for instance, and then L1 for either side, so it'd be symmetrical. But this exports it R1, L2, R3, L4. Like it's weird. So I had to go through and spend probably about a half an hour of doing that, and it was that was really painful. And the fact that I don't have that recorded just makes the pain so much more painful. Then the next step was to be very cautious about choosing which beams I apply from the new frame that we'd made onto the body. And really, there was only the 4 on the slide which could be attached, and the rest had to be free floating, and that's really tricky to make sure it's going to be stable in BeamNG. And then as you can see, it's there, but it just flops down. And then went into this whole diatribe about how beam long bound and beam short bound doesn't really make sense. And then not only if you have those values, you have to have a thing called a beam type. It was just really annoying. What I basically wanted to do is stop the back end from flopping the wrong way and then inverting as it would go below. So I had to find out what the relation was between it being at its top and then it at its most compressed. Eventually, after a lot of time and effort, I was able to get it to, well, not do that anymore, but to compress just the right amount of distance. Then there was this whole thing about it breaking and not working right, and that took hours more again. Then we moved on to the tricky part, the hydros. Now, for those of you that don't understand, a hydro is basically an ability to push one node or pull one node in relative to its own position, which sounds easy, but there's like 15 different things that you need, including three files and 2 of which were in a folder, then the hydros itself, then some triggers, then some event, then some other event type stuff. There's a lot of things that are involved in just being able to have it recognize an input, get that input to go through all of the code, all of the Lua, then come back down and then work to extend this one thing from its, oh my God, it's a hateful little thing. I hate it. Should be so much easier. But that's not the worst of it. I had the subdirectory created from the BeamNG exporty thing from Blender. So I moved the file, like I've been working on the file. I moved the file out of there, then deleted the original file. Good, okay. And I was meant to be working on the new one, which would have been fine if I'd closed off the program that I was editing it in and then reopened it in the new one, but I didn't. So I saved it again after doing some more work on it, which recreated the old file. And now, for like 5 hours, no matter what changes I did, it just ignored them because I was reading the original file and not the new one, which I'd like, I was working on the old one, but the new one that I'd moved, that one was the one that it was reading from because I don't know why. That was so infuriating. Just trying. I was doing everything and I couldn't figure it out. And then I closed it off and then opened it back up and realized that, oh, wait, I've made a whoopsie. But hey, it was, I mean, at least kind of working. Sort of. Well, let's ignore this. Eventually, though, I figured it out. I got to the point now where I could get it to slide down and, I mean, it's not perfect, but I was able to get things to start acting a little bit more like what you'd want them to. Ignore the snowman. And my next problem was that everything was just a little bit floppy. And as you can see, not the most rigid setup at the moment. I then had a problem of the front section wanting to fold the wrong way, and that ended up becoming a real hassle. See, what should happen is it should fold back that way, so then it would clear any sort of seats in the back. Now, I don't actually think this was going to clear the rear seats, but generally give a general gist of it, trying to at least skip and not hit the rear seat. I then started to look at how doors opened and thought I might try to pop it instead. So then that way, instead of it folding down that way, it would start initially with a pop-up and then you would go straight into holding the button to get it to move backwards. But, that was easier said than done. There was this whole thing about having to create special sorts of nodes and whatnot, how to get forces to work, what sort of structure I should have, whether I should move the front nodes or not. I didn't know what to do. It was such a pain in the butt to try to figure this out because I'd also never done this before. And now that I have done it, and this is like post video, what I learned was I don't understand it. even to this day, it doesn't act how it should act. I don't know why they made opening a door so difficult. So what I ended up having to do was take a little bit of code where it has a beam that has always a little bit of pressure upon it. So then that way, when you press the thing to like open a door, but for here to open the roof, it would immediately just start by pushing it away. So annoying, but we got it to work. And then eventually with having to put hydros basically everywhere on this thing to even support it in the middle, we're at a point now where it looks like it kind of worked. Now, it wasn't all rainbows and lollipops because it would still want to fall down. Well, it's the next day, and I've done a little bit of work. One of the things I did in particular was to turn this into individual parts so then they wouldn't deform too much. And then magically one other little thing happened. If we have a look at the collision meshes here and the nodes and everything, now if I click this, it immediately lifts up a little bit. So if I start doing this, everything works right. Oh yeah, I also spent a lot of time tuning how far this would go, and if it goes all the way down now, that's about where it'll sit. And you know what? I'm happy with that. Now it would kind of probably interfere with his rear seat, so we'll see how that goes, but if we fold this back up, also, listen very carefully to this. Oh yeah, it latched on its own. That's absolutely perfect. So now this is reusable and we can do it again and again. No having to do any sort of janky business. I didn't do anything in particular. It just so happened to work out for me. Now this doesn't entirely lay flat, but you know, that's really, really hard to get right. And then this scissor action doesn't really line up until basically right there. It's a bit of a hassle, but unfortunately this hinge, I couldn't get it to do exactly what I wanted it to do. Same with down here a little bit, but you know what? Most of this is going to be covered anyway by the big overarching stuff. So let's go apply that. Grab the name of this, create a new line in here, put that there, and now we're going to have to create a lot of these slots in here for basically everything. I don't know if this is going to work 100%, but we'll give it a try. And if we refresh the car in here, okay, that's looking good. Now what happens here, crossing our fingers, does it, oh, okay. It's not great. Oh, yeah, it's doing some weird wacko jacko stuff. I do have a small idea to help with this, but I'm not sure if it's going to, wait, hold on, where does this actually come from? So if we fold this back out, it's this corner here, and okay, so it's all basically around here where it's having its big hissy fit. I think if we recreate these nodes but apply a group to them this time, that'd be great. Basically, there's a bit of a hierarchy. As the base level things, you keep adding your parts on it, say like your chairs, your suspension, then the wheels on top of the suspension. If you start creating nodes that exist already down there, you're going to override it by superseding it basically with the things that are further on the branches of what you've put on the vehicle. So if I put the nodes now in for the corner here, which we've used already, by the way, B19LL and whatnot, I should be able to get it to basically be the same, except with the extra group stuff added to it. So let's open up the Hopper files and find the body. Look for our parts that we need, which should be down here. Here we go. Grab everything including node weight, because we're going to need that. Plop that at the end of this section, and then get rid of the ones that we don't need. We only need R and like the furthest out ones. Hopper body, hopper roll bar, we're gonna put that right there, and we're gonna create a new group, and this one is going to have its own brand new group, convertible roof. and come down to our new nodes and put you in there. Now this is the only one that is specific to just the roof. All of the nodes will stay in exactly the same place, so here's hoping. A quick little refresh, and let's pop the top and try again. It is holding in its place a lot better now. Things are looking a little bit weird when they crumble, but you know what? That is possible. We're getting a little bit of squish out to the side when this reaches the very bottom, but you know, it's not too bad. I was thinking about adding like a floppiness to the material, but usually convertible roofs are actually very solid anyway. You're getting a little bit of weird jankiness though. I think we might actually add some extra nodes in with some floppiness to it. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna grab once again some of the information from this vehicle. I know, I'm not sure if this is like the perfect thing to use, but look how dense these nodes are, and they're not having any sort of issue. They don't act elastically, and yeah, it's just the right sort of stuff. Limit strap, are you in here? Yes, perfect. Okay, we have a bunch of nodes and good, the beams. These are the ones that connect to the body, so we don't really need that right now, but these ones where they connect to each other, yes, we are going to be grabbing their information. So I'm gonna go back to Blender and I'm gonna create the nodes and beams in there, then transfer them over. It's tricky, and have this be basically the floppy material nodes. So this will sit here, but then flop immediately down a little bit. We're just gonna duplicate this because these don't connect to each other. They connect to these nodes, which are already in the vehicle itself. None of this particularly matters. This is going to be FB for fabric, then export these as the special exporter works. Then in the exporter here, we've got basically all the nodes, and that's all we really need. Copy it, go back to our normal vehicle, and we're going to go convertible roof, put that in there. And these are our nodes. We're now gonna grab the stuff from the suspension. So for just the floppy strap area, this will go right at the top here. Then connecting that to the rest, we're gonna grab the attachment area, and this is going to be for attaching it to the rest of the body. Open up our new made, no, not floppiness, we don't want that. Open the convertible roof. Now we have our floppy nodes, and we're going to start trying to connect them to things. Maybe they are a bit high. I'm thinking if they're really high, when they flop down, they're going to bring the roof immediately. So let's go ahead, grab all of them, and move them to be already in a slack hanging position, which is not too hard. We just basically move it down like that. And now we're going to start creating some beams. So we have in here our new sections, and that includes the floppy roof beams, so they're all good. We're gonna connect, yeah, you know what, actually, we didn't need the extra hard stuff, because we're now just gonna use this section and attach this to here. Wait, what? Oh, we have to click the add the beam section. Hopefully this will work. Wait, why did that not add a beam to that? There we go. Hopefully this is all we need to do. Refresh in BeamNG. And fantastic. Why? Are they really that poorly attached? Let's go to like super slow motion, then refresh the vehicle, and what happens? So they just start to flop down really, really easily, and then wait, are they really? Oh, they might be really heavy. If we have a look at the strap nodes, they're meant to be really light. If we could find where the nodes, here we go, the fabric stuff, and in they go. Now, this is probably not going to fix our issue because I see that they're really floppy, but what happens now? Okay, they still do flop a lot. We got Fabric 7 flopping the most down here, along with something else. Fabric 7 is in the middle. So the middle wants support as well, does it? Quick little sneaky refresh, and damn it. What the hell? Why are fabric 1 and 4 up? 1 and 4 are in the middle. So they don't like having 1 and 4 attached, do they? This is weird. I think this is a bust. But let's do a quick little refresh and things are back to normal. I'm really happy with this, except for the fact that this is not big enough. So from the inside we can do it, but from the outside, where most people drive from, it's just not big enough. This luckily is very easy to do, however, because it is not a what is it? It's a trigger. So roof attach, we just want to make the size a little bit bigger, but which one is normally the Z-axis would be the one that we want to make bigger, but that's not how things work when we're talking about these things, because it's all relative to the node positions. It is the smallest value we want to make bigger, which is its vertical height, which would be this one here, is very small. Let's double it in size by taking it from 0.05 to 0.1, and that's probably going to extend it, but like downwards. Yeah, it didn't go up much, so that's an annoyance. Now we have to use the base translation. I don't remember which one. Is it Z this time around? Let's just go balls to the wall, change that to a 3, and that now sits... Ah, okay, so Z this time does work. I've completely... Oh, no, kind of losing a bit of... It's there. And with a quick little tasty refresh, perfect. It is now very easily clickable from the outside and from the inside. It looks like it's in the right place. I did consider having a latch on either side, but I think it makes it a lot easier just to have a latch on one side, and that will actuate both latches, because there's one over that side and there's a latch on this side. And without anything messing up the screen, it just goes down quite nicely. It does unfortunately go inside of the seat. That sucks, but you know, it's not too bad. Getting some weird foldy action, but not a lot I can do with that. I think maybe if I had like center nodes, that would work a little bit better. Maybe I should put those in. Refresh and hope everything doesn't crash and bang. Okay. We have apparently a floppy hanging node, and that would be... I'll pause. RF3. RF3 is apparently not connected enough. And then connect you to you to you. Because apparently those connections didn't exist. I'm an idiot. Refresh in BeamNG, and... Oh, it's close to working. Not 100%. So let's quickly just see how this works. So that still works properly. I like that it's a little bit floppy. It is also holding its shape a little bit, but not hugely. That is a little bit of a problem. Folding this back up. Is F7 maybe a little too loose? Why is it really bulbous now in the middle? Is RF3 causing an issue? It could be. I think we might have to make it so then the middle... Wow, that's just... Oh, RF3 is really floppy. It'd be great if I could connect 3 to 7s, but I can't do that. I could try setting it up as a new compression thing, but that would also not be particularly great. It could just be a result of it compressing a one. Oh, what does it look like if I refresh? Yeah, no. Oh, wait, hold on. RF5 just flops. Where is RF5? Oh, we don't need RF5. So if we get rid of 5 as well, come back here and refresh. Does that fix our issue? Almost. Like, RF0 is a little bit floppy. But so if we let go, lift up. Okay, you know what? I think that does pretty good. The rear here is holding its shape a little bit better if we just hide those nodes. Yeah, no, that's actually not particularly great. All right, I think our only option really is to get rid of the center ones that we made. That's sad. I was really hoping that that would fix a lot of issues, because we did have issues of the center bits having a little bit of like jankiness to them. What can you do? So I think basically This is as good as it gets. Am I willing to show this to another YouTuber as an example of how good my modding has become? Maybe. I do like the look of it so far. It does unfortunately go through that rear light, but I mean, what can you do? This is basically the limit of my skill. And if anybody else wants to do this, by all means, go ahead. More convertibles in BeamNG, really awesome. I love the ones that I've seen are okay. And I want to see more. So you get the idea of how to do this, and it's really satisfying. That ka-chunk, I know it's just a sound effect. A sound effect? I meant to say sound effect, but yeah, this is cool. So I am here with the master modder himself, Spieler, also known as Spencer Johnson. What?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, what do you think of this vehicle? Are you a fan of the Hopper?
I am a fan of the Hopper. I actually remember when it came out. Very, very good vehicle.
Okay. What if I said this vehicle has a little trick up its sleeve now?
Okay, I'm very nervous. I don't know what you've created here.
Okay, well, hold. I have to turn my UI back on. Here we go.
What? Uh-huh. Oh my, wait. Wait. Wait, you made a convertible hopper?
Yep, I made it mechanical.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, that is
above
amazing.
the driver's head, there's a little latch. And then page up and page down to retract and extend.
Wait, hold up. I can do this then?
Yep.
How do I? Okay, so page.
There's a latch.
Oh, there it is. Okay, and then I got that unbuttoned, and then page.
Should be
up
page up to put it down. Yeah, I know it's inverted, but I'll figure that out later.
Oh my, dude! How do you do these things? You are magic. I mean, I don't know how you do this.
It's not the greatest mod in the world, but that's because
it's cool.
I maybe there's a lot I don't get, but yeah. It was a lot of fun.
That's actually sick. Yeah, no. Oh. Okay, I did something.
On my screen, it's very messed up for your car. So I get the feeling that this doesn't synchronize very well on BeamNG, but yeah, that's what I spent the last 3 days making.
3 days?
Oh, not quite 3 days, but
yeah.
If I was to do the math, it would probably be somewhere around 15 to 25 hours. I kind of lost track now. There was also like 20 hours of me like recording the last little bit of the video and then me having no internet, so I couldn't actually show this to anybody, so I've forgotten. Yeah.
This is actually crazy though.
It's really fun to use, isn't it?
It is. This doesn't exist in BeamNG too. This is like a thing you had to code from scratch pretty much, right?
I am not the first person to do this, but I'm the first one to do it for the Hopper. I did actually see that somebody had done it for an ETK, the coupe sports car. And I didn't really look at it, but I have seen that it exists. And I was like, okay, well, we'll do a different vehicle then. And this one already had the convertible roof, so I was like, hell yeah, perfect.
That is beautiful. That is amazing.
That way I don't have to do any modeling or material making as well.
No, not really. Yeah,
I suck at that.
It already kind of comes with like that. I like how if you don't uncouple it and you do the page up slash page
rips
down,
the roof?
it will like, it like rips the roof a little bit. It kind of buckles itself. It's funny.
I was thinking about making the windshield like move downable as well, but that'll have to be for another day. That would
have been cool. Yeah, you could expand on this, make it a full like changing hopper.
Oh my god, you like my viewers? Hey, could you do this? I was like, that's a lot of work for not a lot of clicks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I feel you.
This does not synchronize very well over BeamNG, as I can see that it's...
You are messed up for me as well.
On my screen, it's absolutely pristine and latched in place at the moment. And your side, it's really messed up.
Either. I wonder if you could do this with a bus.
The bus? Oh.
I don't know how that'd work. I don't even know how that worked, but that would be amazing.
I mean, it wouldn't be too hard. You remember that one of the Gambler vehicles was like a really long vehicle, and then they had the stretchable roof?
Yeah.
You'd probably do something like that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show. Thank you everybody for joining me in this video. Don't forget to check out Spencer. He does videos, but he also does modding and whatnot, and does a lot of mods for Komodo and whatnot. But for now, I would like to thank my channel members, and that specifically includes the Rogue Tick, the Crayon Priest, for being a top tier channel member. You are very, very much appreciated. For the rest of you, though, I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.